Hi, I want to go over the scenarios here with you, and I had an opportunity to review all three of the candidates that Stephen had to interview. Before I give you my decision on which candidate is the best fit for this company, I want to talk about the other two candidates prior to giving my final analysis. We had an opportunity to listen to Anita and Paul and George. Anita, when she first came into the interview session, she appeared to be a very perky person. That would be great, considering that she can mix it up with some seriousness as well. There were a few questions that I did have some concerns about, but wanted to give her a fair shake in this whole interview session. It appeared that from Anita's standpoint, she was trying to design her interview around her own theories. It appeared that she was reading off her own script, and so therefore, based on that, she could not be totally real about the actual questions that were being posed. When she was asked to give an example of how she would handle a disruptive student, she brought it back around to adult theory, and that it's more important that the student that the students see that they want to know what's in it for me, instead of her designing the program as to making sure that they understand the reason why they are being trained. Her ideas were too idealistic, and we need someone who has a lot more realism superimposed. Based on that, I did not see that she was a good fit. The second person, who was Paul, he did come across, before he opened his mouth, as the right candidate. What took place was just a total disappointment. Paul had jumped around from job to job to job in 5 years. His last job he quit, but he gave the excuse that he was laid off because he wasn't popular. That's usually a red flag, that when they say that they weren't popular, they were being laid off, that's a poor performing moment, and that they are going to also be the one to complain when there's someone around. They're going to complain. They won't get the job done, and you need someone who shows a lot more management skills, someone who is self-directed, someone who shows flexibility, and Paul didn't offer any of those at all. His experience were all filled with great why he did not do well, and why he quit his job, and it was their fault and not his. He didn't own up to it. The third person I chose on this was George. George offered, they gave the best answer when he came to how do you handle a person who disrupts the class. Was excellent. You go directly to them. I believe in that one way to quiet down the loudest mouse is to stand right next to them and draw attention to the mouse. They will either squeak by or want to run away, or they'll quiet down. George was totally upfront and honest about the reason why he left his last job. He said he wasn't a good fit. He quit because he saw that as a great experience, but it wasn't for him, and it was better to get someone who was more qualified into that position. Why keep the spots? Why stay in a place where you weren't contributing to the company and you were costing the company more money? So that was very smart in him. He said he learned something from that. He would be more malleable in this position as a new trainer for this company. So therefore, I choose George. To all of you all, for the dads out there, happy Father's Day, and I do look forward to reading through your own, or listening to your and looking at your videos of what you saw from this script. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, and including the mothers who are fathers as well.